nonfiction piece by really thanking my grandmother. She's sitting in the front row in the periwinkle shirt. And it's an amazing honor the encounters have bestowed upon me is for her. So it's called The Day I Learned to Run. A Dominican with Dutch ancestry, my Nana had traveled across the Caribbean and South America before being referred to our family by a friend in New York. Nana was never just that. She was a member of the family and held me long before my birth grandmother ever got a chance to. At 3 days old, my mother brought me home from the hospital and put me in my Nana's coffee-scented hands before going off to work in the financial district. Her skin was the color of warm sand, and her eyes burned hot emerald fire. Every afternoon, she would take me to the park across the street from our apartment. There were beautiful old trees and an Olympic-sized track that ran along the length of the park. Every day, my boundaries grew. First by the closest willow, then the second bench from the right, I watched my borders expand to the farthest leafless tree. That bush over there, the fountain, the sprinkler, the swing set, the gate. I aged in meters from the sunlight of her watchful eyes. It was as if I was growing longer and her eyes were growing sharper. One day she told me in her Spanish that I could go. I didn't move. Go on, she whispered, her words flowing like molasses. Where, I asked. Anywhere in the park. And she opened up her Spanish newspaper and shut me out with a grin on her face. I walked measured steps along the length of the track. I explored every bush, counted different kinds of trees, flowers underfoot. I connected the baseball diamonds under my bare feet. I reached this grand oak tree, the one tree I was never allowed to stand beneath, for it was always outside my box. But today I was beneath it, beside it, atop it, all over it. It was on my second attempt up it when I found a boy, his light blue eyes peering up at me from a lower-lying branch. I'm Toby, he chimed. What's your name? Raven, I lied. My neighbor and I had promised that if we ever met strangers, we would pretend to beat each other in order to protect our true identities, like superheroes. Hey Raven, do you want to race? He asked, pulling himself up another branch to get closer to mine. I looked back puzzled. What do you mean race? Like running? I felt the word melt over my tongue. I'm the fastest runner in this whole park, he said. I thought only grown-ups did that. No, come, I'll show you how. He flew off the branch and walked me over to the white paint starting line. I pawed the ground softly with the edge of my heel. Don't tell me you've never ran before, he asked, astounded. I was only 7 then, and had only seen runners on the Olympics on television. It's easy, he said. You're going to throw your legs against the ground as fast as you can and take really big steps. At one point, neither of your feet will be on the ground. Like flying? Exactly like flying. We locked eyes, and the pale blue of his iris made me believe I could really do this. Ready, set, go, I yelled, as I began to furiously beat my feet against the ground. I felt my Nana's watchful eyes peer over the edge of El Diario. I turned my head and smiled at her, right in that beat where neither feet was touching concrete. I flew for her, like a fledgling for her mother, grinning, proud, and free.